Hi, Dr. Mel, busy with physics, and we are going to do free body diagrams, not on a horizontal as in the previous lesson, but now on a slope. So let's go back to the theory. Remember what's the difference between a force diagram and a free body diagram. So let's quickly focus on the differences. Here, the object will be a block. So you'll actually draw a block, the object as it is. In the free body, you will draw the object as a dot. Can you see the dot there? The next difference will be we'll have to draw the arrows for each force. So the arrows will be the indication of firstly the direction, but also, and be careful, the magnitude. If it's a large force, it will have a larger arrow. If it's a smaller force, it will have a smaller arrow. So make sure that you actually indicate the magnitude and the direction. And here it's exactly the same. You will show the magnitude and the direction of the force. Another difference between the force diagram and the free body diagram is that the arrows have to touch the block. It cannot start somewhere in the vicinity. It needs to touch the block. Do you see that arrow is touching that block there? And here the arrow is actually touching the dot. But remember, the direction for a free body is different than a force diagram. When it's a free body diagram, they need to all touch and go away from the dot. Whereas when you work with a force diagram, they will be working as they actually do. This one is working inward, that one is out, that one is out. So that is just a revision of the theory. Now let's see what we are going to do when we work on a slope. Firstly, let's just have a look at the horizontal, which we did in a previous lesson. We said we've got the surface there, we've got the block. Now the first step that you take is identify all the forces. So what do I do if I have a diagram like that? I firstly identify the normal and the gravity. I usually do the gravity because I know what it is. It's downward. So I've got the gravity down there, and I always have to label my forces. Then I've got the surface, and from the surface upward would be the normal. So I'm drawing the normal there. Just make sure that you don't work as I did. It should just touch the dot there. Then the second identification would be the other forces. This seems to be the applied force. Let's draw it there. There's the applied force, for instance, and it has to touch the dot there. And then finally, it can be another force, but let's make that the frictional force. So there I've got the frictional force. And not as untidy as I'm doing. Firstly, it has to touch this dot that you're making. It has to have the same directions. And finally, the size of your arrow, you don't have to do it on a scale, but the size will actually have some indication of the magnitude. Is it a small force or is it a greater force? Right, let's go to a slope. When anything object is lying on a slope, there's a few other forces. Now, the first force, as I said to you, is usually, in my way of thinking about this, the gravity. So I've got the gravity working towards Earth. Remember what we did in the lesson? We said this is Earth, and you'll have the gravity working towards Earth. We also will have a normal. Now you can remember the normal will always be from the surface upward. So I'm going to draw the normal from the surface upward, and I've got to label it. And then you'll have obviously forces pulling this down or pulling this up, depending on which side it's moving. And we'll do a few applications just now. Now let's see, can we draw a free body? I've got the gravity. So I've got that one. I've got the normal, and remember it's got to be in the same direction. Make sure that you really have an idea and a sense of that direction. That's working that way. That's the normal. and then you've got your forces either up or down or both of them. Now, this is what you would have drawn in terms of this. But what is working with a slope is this angle actually makes that you've got this gravity broken up into two components. So let's go and work with the components. And we've done this in a previous lesson, but I'm going to repeat this for you. If I've got my gravity there, remember the gravity was like that. And you would say it has a component parallel and a component perpendicular. That would be your components. Now, there's something crucially wrong with the diagram I draw, because I've got this as well as two of the components, which can never be. So let's do it as you would do it. I would draw the gravity as a dotted line, because I'm going to substitute the gravity with the two components. I'm going to have a component that's going to be parallel, and now I can draw it with a solid line. And I'm going to have a component which is perpendicular. And you will now see that when we draw the free body diagram, that I can actually draw a triangle. So let's go and draw the free body diagram. This is the object. Remember, it's always a dot. On the dot, I now indicate the different components. So I've got that component there, which is the, remember, parallel. Then I've got this component here, which is the perpendicular. Remember, the slope was there. So that angle there is 90 degrees. So that is the perpendicular. In a previous lesson, we actually showed you that we can complete here with that dotted line there. We can actually complete this triangle. And that angle at the top there, this angle here, will be exactly as that, same size as that angle there. So let's do the math. What would the parallel force be? Well, it's adjacent to this angle. So that would be the weight times cos of that angle, because it's adjacent. Remember, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. And your hypotenuse is that angle, the right angle, and that side. So I've got the cos representing the parallel force. Let's continue. I've got this perpendicular, which is actually this force here. And what would that be in terms of this angle? It would be the opposite. And you know, opposite over hypotenuse is the sine. So the calculation to get this component would be the weight or the gravity times sine of this specific angle. That's the way that we go about to calculate the components, and you'll do it every time. Let me quickly revise. Let's take away all the forces. Firstly, you've got your gravity. Remember, your gravity has got a component parallel to the slope and perpendicular to the slope. So that's the two components. And then you continue to draw the other lines. You probably have your normal there if the slope is lying like this. And you'll have, if there is, a force upwards. So you've got your object, the circle. You've got your gravity there, which actually consists of a parallel and a perpendicular component. And you've got either the applied force or the friction, and do not forget the normal force. Right, let's go to a more complex way of presenting this. In this diagram, we're going to work with an applied force downwards on the slope. Now here I've got the force diagram. Let's have a look at this. Firstly, the gravity would be there. But in this case, we didn't draw the gravity. we could have drawn the gravity with dotted lines. So we can say this is the gravity being represented by the two components, exactly like we did it in the previous one. So I've got this component there. Can you see it's the parallel? And I've got this component here, which is the perpendicular. Okay, so this force is pulling it down. Therefore, the parallel would be in the downward direction. Now we've got the applied force. Can you see that angle there? That arrow is the applied force. And because it's moving down, you will have friction that will be moving upwards. Friction is always in the opposite side as the movement. So you've got your friction force there, and then the one that you always know, you've got your surface exerting a force perpendicular on the object, which we call the normal. Now let's quickly see how do we actually calculate all the forces in the parallel direction. Well, we've got Fg, which is the parallel component. Can you see it there in orange? Can you see I also have the applied force, which was the green one? And I could also have in the same plane. Remember, it's all in this plane. It's parallel, but I have the friction, which is that one there, and therefore I deduct the friction because the friction is in the opposite direction. That would give me my net force, and you'll be able to do calculations. But it's very difficult to work with a force diagram. So we usually work with the, can you remember? Free body. And you can go and practice the free body. Let's just quickly see. There I've got my blue friction. There I've got my parallel force and my applied. Let me get the correct colors. I've got there the parallel in orange. And then the normal, which I didn't have in that diagram, would be that side. Remember, the normal will be upward, perpendicular to the slope, and that would be also the component of the gravity. Be careful if you're working in the perpendicular angle. You are now working with the two pink or purple arrows. So I've got the perpendicular one down, and I've got the force normal upward. Therefore, it's a negative direction. Let's do one where we are working with the applied force up the slope. Now, you can remember, if it's going upwards in the slope, it will obviously have a frictional force that's downward. So always make sure that you know where the motion will be. So let's continue. We've got an upward applied force. Can you see it's going upward? We always have gravity. So gravity would be here, and I'm doing it in a dotted line because I am taking the gravity into two components. I've got the parallel component and I've got the perpendicular component. So I don't have all three of them. The one, the gravity, I actually displaced with, I actually put the gravity in the dimension of the perpendicular and the parallel. What will I also have? Well, if it's applying up and it's moving that way, I will have a frictional force going that way. And as you know, the surface will always exert a normal force. And in this case, the normal force will be up there. So it has to be perpendicular to that. This seems to be a wrong line, it seems to be. Okay, let's see. Can you go from the force to the free body? Let's go and do a free body. We start with a circle or a dot, and if it's too small, go and make it larger so that every force can touch it. Then you go and say, okay, I had the applied force in that direction, and as you see in my other diagram, I had the normal in that direction. The other two remaining will be the parallel, it's moving down, and the perpendicular to that one. And remember, you had the gravity there. And because it's going upwards with that applied, you also have your friction down there. And again, we can actually get your net force by working either in the parallel or in the perpendicular plane. Don't get confused. Keep them separately. Let's quickly have a look. I had in parallel, I'm going upwards. So I've got a plus applied force. And both of these two are working downwards. So I am putting a negative sign. So you could say it's the applied force minus the frictional force minus the parallel. That would probably be the way to write it down as soon as you work out with Newton's laws. Perpendicular would be in this plane. This is the slope. So what's going downward? Downward would be the gravity component, which is perpendicular. And what would be moving upward? That would be the normal, and I am deducting them from each other. So what do I do if I've got no applied force? So it's not moving. I will have again my gravity in my two components. Do you see that? Let me just quickly do this. Remember, in a dotted line represented by the perpendicular and the parallel force, I will also have a frictional force that side, and there's no applied force, so I only have friction keeping it there. And as you see, this friction will be exactly the same size as that parallel force because I've got no force. So the F net in this case would be equal to 0. And then perpendicular, it's exactly the same as all the previous ones. We've got the normal force going upward from the slope and the perpendicular component of the gravity. And that again will give me my signs, and I know there's no movement, therefore my net force is 0. What did we do? We took force diagrams and free body diagrams and we applied them to a slope. On a slope, you know you've got an angle, and if you've got an angle, you always have components. Your gravity, which is downwards towards Earth, will always have a slope there with a perpendicular component and a parallel component. Be careful that you don't work with this force, rather work with the two components. And as I said, in every diagram, you then draw your gravity with a dotted line. I hope you can do these calculations. Bye-bye.